Edward C. Lin is currently sitting in jail right now, rotting when he shouldn't be. Edward Lin is a whistleblower. And what did he reveal? He was the gentleman. Shout out to Eddie. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, sir. He revealed the footage of the missing Malaysia flight MH370. He was the guy who revealed the plane footage at the bottom. Now, your friend Sammy here, a year ago, I made my first video about it, and I've made my follow-up on it too, friends. It turns out it wasn't aliens that zapped the plane. It was US military. This looks obvious in hindsight, right? Because people would have had some fear because they're thinking, oh, crap, aliens are zapping us out of existence. I thought, nah, I don't think they'd do that. I mean, they could. I just don't think they'd do that, though. Now it makes sense. Let me refresh your memory. Now, I've already made my full video about it, friends. You can type in MH370. You can go through my 2 videos. This was the initial video. This is what he leaked. You see, this is the plane. By the way, I was always wondering. I go, bro, how do you have this footage? It turns out, friends, Americana, shout out to my American baby dolls. They have satellites all over the globe, and they track everything. Every courier, every plane, every corner of the world, it's tracked. And it's video surveillance too. So this is the plane, and if you look closely, what ends up happening is there are 3 orbs around the plane. We're like, oh crap, UFOs, UFOs, UFOs. But then what ends up happening is, as we go on, is it zaps out of existence. Right here. Watch. Wheel, wheel. Pop. And look at the camera. Look at the camera. It was like, hello? Hello? Hello, this is real life. You're not meant to kind of like zap out of existence. We haven't invented the science yet for it. So it's very obvious, friends, what happened. Very obvious what's happened now. Shout out to this gentle sir we're going to go through who's been covering all these. We have like one of the greatest citizen journalists of all time. So, you know, that's what you just saw. Missing flight MH370. Yeah, there's fake news out there saying, oh, we found the bit of the plane. No, you didn't. 19 people missing. Do you want to know what happened, friends? I'm going to cover it with you now. Got more follow-ups. The 19 people missing, there's 19 families. After the plane was officially declared missing and crashed, which it never crashed, friends. It got wormholed out to another US airbase. Okay. The family members could ring their family. They could ring the people on the plane. Now you tell me, how the hell are the phones ringing if they're all meant to be dead? Cell phone towers don't work like that. Okay, so I'm now going to continue and show you this wonderful information. And I really want to focus on this gentle sir. So Edward Lin, he's in jail. But here's the funny, it's not funny. It's disgusting, but it's typical deep state. He's in jail, but the public can't know why he's in jail. All right, so you've had to deduce all these. Let's continue. Malaysia flight MH370 went missing and got wormholed out by US military. Edward C. Lin was taken to jail because he leaked the MH370 video of the plane being zapped out of the air. US government was terrified about the case going to court because it would open up this to the public. Like, you can imagine telling the public, we zapped this plane out of existence. Bro, what the hell are the Neil deGrasse Tyson's going to say? We're not meant to have discovered the astrophysics equations for that yet. We're going to read this together from Ashton. Ashton Forbes is a national treasure. Ashton has been doing citizen journalism for many years on this. He's the one, he put all the pieces of the puzzle together. He's dedicated his life to this now. And boy, oh, but he put all this info here. I'm here helping share it out here. Because, you know, there's a lot of text and a lot of words, right? It hits differently when we're on camera. Now, Edward C. Lin is the person I identified as the leaker of the MH370 videos through my own independent research. He spent 6 years in prison on a 9-year sentence from a plea deal. So, he continues. Military members had to testify as to why what he leaked was so damaging. When you realize these orbs are not aliens, but our own secret technology, it makes sense why they came down so hard on him. The US government was terrified of the case going to court because they had lied about Edward Lin being a spy. They had to admit there was no evidence of communications of him to China, which is, it's kind of sad, friends. Look at this, look at this. Okay, so you see a Chinese dude and they go, oh, let's just say he was a Chinese spy. See, they just pin you down on something that's bullshit. Okay, there was no communications. He never spoke to China. Okay, so they just couldn't make stuff up. But they ran with it anyway, right? So they tried to pin him down on that. And he said, and then they would have to publicly state what was leaked. So they can't tell everybody he leaked this. Everyone's going to be like, what's so weird about that? You remember that video I showed you, friends? There are Coconut Intelligence Agency operatives. They are plaguing all over Reddit, on Twitter, on Facebook. If you post that around, I'm going to show you, bots come in and they say, this was debunked, this was debunked, look away, look away. And I've got to remind you as well, I've got to play for you, friends. This is going to play some cranky cheap music. This is actually crazy. Okay, we're going deep! You gotta get into the zone. You gotta get into the zone. They took the original video and then they added one of these Super Nintendo games. I remember someone in the comment section, I think it was one of the fighter games, you know, when you're like controlling a plane and it's like you're shooting up vertically. They took one of the bomb sprites, which is just like the bomb explosion image, and then in a very subtle fashion, friends, they overlay it onto the zapping part of the plane. And then they went onto Reddit and they go, oh, I've debunked it. It turns out the video is from a 1995 game. It's fake. But no. That video came out after the leak. Okay? It was not a match. And you got to understand, friends, they're very good at lying. They're very good at manipulation. You never, ever trust anybody remotely associated with the Coconut Intelligence Agency. Guess what, man? They're a bunch of Ponzi crypto people. But anyway, we don't really give a shit. But yeah, I'm just the general consensus out there. Now, you know what's interesting as well? I've got to add to that. When they added the bomb sprite to make it look fake, they found something similar to it. So they didn't put an entirely new bomb thing. They found something and they slightly matched like maybe 10% deviation. So it's 90% similar, but it's not 100% similar. You understand? We're dealing with people, not even people, like Coconut Intelligence Agency, the Fancy Bananas investigators, the Deep State. They are really good at this. Really, really good. Like, they do very subtle things, right? It's kind of like if you wanted to change someone's shirt on TV. Hey, it's blue. Okay, don't make it blue. Make it like a slightly darker tint of blue, right? And replace the guy, okay? I'm just showing you how they know what to do. So, Ashton continues. What the United States did to MH370 was a warning to China. Don't mess with us. So I think they had a lot of the superconductor scientists on there. Do you remember there was on that plane? There was something like there's a lot of these superconductor scientists, or a lot of the basically just a bunch of nerds who had some gravity. I don't know, the conductors or whatever. Okay, look at this. Barrack Obama knows. James Clapper knows. John Brennan knows. Avril Haines knows. Do your job, mainstream media. Ask the questions. Well, I mean, he's saying that. Ashton's saying that. Like, we all know, bro. It's deep state. What do you mean mainstream media, bro? You're all fake news. You're all in cahoots with each other. Friends, that's why I've got to tell you, we're long on crypto. Why are we long on crypto? Because they can only fund this stuff because of the money printer. They can only fund this because of the money printer. They press the money printer button, they funnel the money out, and guess what? They keep debasing the currency. Okay, so if you are an Americana citizen or anywhere else in first world, right? Basically, parts of your labor units, especially America, when you go and work a job, you pay taxes. Your labor units, when you work, you are actually being taxed in a stealth way to fund advanced weapon UFO technology and to keep it away from you. So just so you know. Now, of course, you might run with it one way and go, well, you know, maybe it's for the better because it's defense mechanism. What if Iran or China or somebody else develops this and now we've got a problem? What if you can just literally send the ship through a city and nukes bounce off it? Because that's anti-gravity tech, right? They have that. That's one way, but that's one perspective. What about the other perspective of there are millions of people dying of cancer, heart disease, and so many things right now that shouldn't, because we have the technology really to basically power them up and solve a lot of diseases and stuff. Obviously, they're holding out the tech. We know that now. So Edward Lin, now that's a Patriot, brother. Actually, thank you for that video, man. That's an insane video. Like when I saw it, I was like watching it. I was like, there's no way. My reality, I was already open kind of UFOs and stuff, of course, but I was like, I can't believe this. I just can't. It's just too much for me. 3 things zapping around the plane and boop. Okay. Remember in my earlier video, friends, I've already explained to you. It turns out they most likely got zapped to another island where they have a secret base, American military base. And I think if I remember in that, the base was so secret that people went there, they weren't allowed to leave. That's how like dangerous it is to even know about this place. Even Mr. Ashton Forbes replies, pretty much, see my other reporting about his case. He flew in a super secret spy plane program right before the plane went missing, and his lawyer argued the classified information he leaked was available on the internet. So yeah, it's crazy. Also, shout out to Pulse Wallet. Pulse Chain users unaffected. Yeah, bro, I know. Like, yeah, gravity warping tech, sweet. We're gonna be fine. Now, let's go on. Now, remember I spoke to you about the fake PsyOps disinformation campaign. Friends, they got a lot of people that do this. That's crazy. It's kind of like they're all in the know. Look at this. The Coconut Intelligence Agency and the Fancy Banana investigators have operatives all over the internet. When they are desperately trying to plug a leak, they start spamming Reddit and Twitter with disinformation posts. Here's one that they did. Now, even before this one, friends, with Donald Trump's first assassination, that Thomas Cox guy, there was the commercial of him and Roca Negra. Remember he's in the Roca Negra commercial? When it first came out, there were community note spams on Twitter and Reddit and all these disinformation campaign from all these bots saying that it's not the kid. He wasn't in an infomercial for Roca Negra. Because they're desperately, they got pissed off that people found the paper trail. They found the trail that he is a Fed agent. And it wasn't a lone gunman. It was a trained operative at some point. Not trained, but obviously brainwashed, right? Could have been trained. Who knows, right? Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, obviously something's going on. It's obviously deep state did it. So that was we saw that. With Donald Trump's second assassination, that Ryan Cuck guy, there were even more suspicious things. They end up getting everything wiped. Mark Zuckerberg is obviously evil reptilian scum, ends up deleting stuff for the US government, wiping all the information on the trails. So it's very, very obvious. Now, look what they did for this. By the way, you know, when I saw this, friends, I knew, okay, this is 100% real. When I saw this happening, look at this. Look at the information. Look at this. Look at this. Absolutely. So they're talking about, right? They're talking about the video, right? They're talking about the video. Look at this. Absolutely false. That's one of old fake videos created by YouTuber Regicide Anon, the same guy who created the fake airliner abducted by UFOs and often related by hoax promoters to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 disappeared on March. Really shameful. So look at all these negative things. So friends, it's funny on Reddit, friends, UFO guys, they're so switched on, man. Like they're almost like too switched on, but they're just like, it's so hard to PsyOps a UFO guy. Like, oh my God. You're like, good luck. If you're a salesman, hey, want to buy some shampoo for a vacuum? Skip the UFO dude. Just completely skip the UFO dude. I'm telling you now. Okay. Look, it starts copy pasting out here. Absolutely false. That's one of the old fake videos. Absolutely false. That's one of the... So, it's funny on Reddit and UFO, they find the bots. They find the fake accounts. And it's not... Well, it's not obvious. It's not just new accounts. They have old ones that they just leave there. Look at this. Obviously, this is a green soy jack. Coconut Intelligence Agency. And it's always funny out here. Icke as well. Everybody doing it. Absolutely false. So you see over and over and over again, they do that. And by the way, that they remember this thing. We're seeing a renaissance of this stuff in terms of like we're seeing more of it happen, friends. And because I've got a fluffy microphone, I report this to you, and we share this information together. And I'm animating a lot of these. We're getting smarter. We're getting more wise. It's getting harder to con us. So now they can't just do the same copy-paste spam. They have to change the words, change the language. They have to try different methods out here. That's the Coconut Intelligence Agency's job, really. So I now want to show you, just friends, man, there's so many people that are lying about this. There's so many people that are lying. Look at this. Okay, remember the phone calls and the network towers. Look at this. UFO mind-blowing. Malaysia flight MH370 disappeared. But the 19 family members all said that their plane flight loved ones had a cell phone still ringing. This is consistent with the Wormholed videos we saw earlier. The US government authorities never investigated further, obviously because the plane had wormholed to another location. They brought PsyOps liars onto TVs to say that's just how TV networks work this way.
Some relatives of the missing passengers say they've called their loved ones' cell phones, and instead of going straight to voicemail, the phones continue to ring. So what, if anything, does that tell us? Joining us now, technology industry analyst and e-commerce Times columnist Jeff Kagan. Jeff, thanks very much for coming in. So what should these loved ones conclude if it's still ringing instead of immediately going to voicemail?
This is one of the sad parts about the technology. The way the cell phone network works, it's not connecting with a phone. You have to remember what's happening is when you place a phone call on a wireless phone, you place the call, you press send.
So basically just all PsyOps. It's just all PsyOps. That, very sorry, is that how the technology works? Go blow up your phone and see if the cell phone tower rings. Okay? I'll call you. See if it works. And by the way, it wasn't just one. It was 19. All 19. All 19. Different carriers, different satellites, all of them rang. We're not stupid, dude. We're not dumb, okay? I know 70% of the population is dumb, so I get it. They have to do this, but we're not stupid. I'm going to read a comment here from Mr. King and on as well. I went down this rabbit hole already, bro. There were also military satellites over the areas where it was suspected to have landed, and at the same time it crashed, meaning the government and shit already know where it is. Yes, it is, sir. Yes, it is. That's what we're covering. In my second follow-up video from that, we got to see that, yeah, that's America's got that tech, friends. Do you remember, friends, there's been reports, okay? There's been guys working at, like, Boeing, one of the warehouses. They go on a lunch break, smoking a dart. They hang around a warehouse they're not meant to. And then at a certain time, they saw, like, a big, just a flat circle just like raises off the floor. It's like in a giant hangar warehouse of a plane. It raises off the floor, and basically it can move around. Okay, it's literally, it looks like sci-fi tech. But I'm guessing what's inside is there's people who walk in there. So inside, that's how the UFO ships work as well, friends. There's people who, you know, the leakers and stuff over time, they say, well, the ship looks like a midget has to fit inside. Obviously, like little alien bodies in there. But when you get in there, it's much bigger. So obviously, there's some sort of technology there where they've just basically morphed space-time so that when you it's basically like peeking into a hole, and it's like basically Wonderland inside. And it's like much, much, much bigger. So these all things is kind of interesting. You hear one story, okay, doesn't mean much. But you're like, okay, now we're on story 458. You know where it's all heading. Now, the video leaker, Edward Lin, right? Oh, man, he's in jail. They're not allowed to say what he leaked. Of course they won't. Now we know why. US military higher-ups are upset at China. But let's read from Ashton, right? He says, the Edward C. Lin leak of the MH370 videos, right? The evidence is undeniable. He flew in a super secret spy plane program called the VPU-2 Wizards that hides their insignias in case they crash and get caught running a black ops. That's really interesting, okay? He had above top secret clearance. He had access to both videos. That's interesting. It's like they basically... I hope they don't kill him. I really hope they don't kill him. Like, you got access to top secret stuff. That's what they do. They're like, I'll just get rid of him. Okay, interesting how they work. They hide the insignias in case you get crashed. He continues. Edward Lin was assigned to the squadron 3 weeks before MH370 disappeared, which was February 2014. Okay. His lawyer is directly quoted saying that they began investigating him April the 2nd, 2014. Look at these, the dates. Interesting. This is a 6-week window, including the time the plane disappeared. This implies he was caught accessing the SBIRS database via the Citrix session logs as seen in the satellite video. So that's that international US video, the SBIRS. Okay. Ashton continues again. Edwin's lawyer tried to argue that the information Edward leaked was already available on the internet. Somehow, show me information available online that warrants a 9-year sentence after a plea deal. He already had the plea deal and they came back like, oh, I don't know, you got to take this guy on longer. We've got to set a precedent. Why were they trying to get him on espionage? Because obviously the technology in the MH370 videos was a weapon. Obviously, wormholing stuff. And China has learned a lot from the public leak. So it's pretty obvious, right? I get China's got advanced stuff too. We just don't, obviously, they don't know how advanced each other's stuff is. And now, if there's nothing to hide related to his case, why did the NCIS reject my Freedom of Information Act in total to be kept secret in the interest of national security or foreign policy? So obviously there is something to hide. Duh. Advanced weapon tech. They're like, wait a minute. Humanity, you're not meant to have discovered the formulas and the physics to be able to know that this thing is possible yet. Look at this. He even has the filing. Freedom of Information Exemption Executive Order, this number, subsection is intelligence activities including covert operations and is foreign relations. It's amazing I have to work this hard to show what is obvious to anyone with half a brain. Edward C. Lin leaked the videos. They are real. The military has PFM, pure fudging magic. Wow. Talk about a shocker. So this is Ashton with his initial posts and all these forms and stuff. He always continues here as well as we move on. He's replying to someone. This is the best investigative story I've ever come across. Every year a twist and a fact that can't be debunked. Have you thought about a documentary on Discovery, History Channel or Netflix? I'm sure that will happen one day. Once people wake up to what science can accomplish, I'm sure there will be several people hitting me up to do a movie about it. Heck, I'd watch it. Problem is right now, the public is so far behind it seems impossible to most people. Time will prove me correct about the plane and the physics. Yes, 100% true. And I mean, like, friends, if you're honestly looking at, you know, like the fake PsyOps educators, like, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson, E equals MC squared. Reminder, there have been family members of scientists, the grandchildren, they found dockets, pay slips of dad or granddad. And it turns out they were on the NASA pay package secretly back in the 70s, back in the 80s. And they were just going around universities and television telling people aliens don't exist. We can't go faster than this speed. This is our technology. We can't do anything more than that. Anything else is a load of baloney lies. None of it exists, okay? They were on the pay packet. They never told their family members they were getting paid by NASA. NASA's also bug eater squared. HODLNomix from the pDAI family. It is the jinn. I was chasing free energy for years, got deep in the movement, get far enough and you can call on these orbs via rituals, aka the rituals. So yeah, this is some stuff that I'm not sure if Stephen Greed does that. Kind of funny, friends. It's just the UFO community is like it's like in the most deepest undervalued thing. But the UFO community, they're so beaten down because they were true believers before we had YouTube and Twitter to put all the information back to back and present it all. Because I'm just like, anybody else. I'm like, oh, that's a story. Anyway, let me get on with our life. Tomorrow you forget about it. But once we start stacking them one by one, put all the pieces of the puzzle together, you get to see, oh, wow, it's all real. And it just keeps hammering away and that becomes more of a movement. We're the new blood. We're the youth. We come in. We have no preconceived notions, Spencer. So, back in, obviously, in the 70s and 80s, 90s, look at David Icke and stuff. You're talking about reptilians and all these other double eyelid stuff. People are going, ha, 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 ha. You are so crazy. Ha, ha, ha. Like, now, like, you seeing people right now, like, yeah, dude, we don't give a shit. Like, like, people can't even call this stuff crazy. Like, you literally, you watch the government spread a man-made virus. Okay, by the way, told you it was real. Came from bats, load of shit. High odds came from a lab. Now confirmed. Do you remember, friends? You're getting putting in jail and videos are deleted if you said it came from a lab. Okay. Now it's like, oh yeah, we can't deny that part, right? So just look how far we've come. And now you got people with 5-time vaccine, chop off your own genitals, chop off your nipples, do all this weird shit going around here. Like, bro, that's 75% of the population, just a bunch of sheep. So like, you're the wacky one. What the hell are you talking about? It's kind of funny as well. When you look at the polls, I'm always really surprised. It's not even fringe anymore, friends. You know, I look at all the UFO polls before I click on them, when it's like, hey, do you believe, or like, don't even believe, hey, are you aware of UFOs? It's not even that, do you believe, okay? Like, we've gone past that point. I'm always like, oh, I wonder if it's like 5%. No, man, it's like 45%. You guys, friends, I haven't had a conversation with anyone. Everyone knows something's going on. I haven't had a person who doesn't think anything's going on. The only question is, do they think it's like legit aliens like Vitalik? Yeah. Do you think it's aliens or do you think it's US government PsyOps? There's obviously a blending of both. There are Mr. and Mrs. aliens that have come across. We've also got the blending of American technology that's obviously they have reverse engineered. You know, I remember hearing all these stories about, oh, we're painfully slow at reverse engineering the technology. And I remember just sifting through all this information and watching all these videos, and it just hit me after I heard it for the 10th time. It took me 10 times, and I finally realized, I go, that's a load of shit. No way. I go, every scientist leak who doesn't get killed, that's the interesting part. I'm thinking, wait a minute, you didn't get killed, and I'm hearing the information. So, and what's the information? That it's painfully slow at being reverse engineered. We can't figure it out. It's taken a long time. I kept hearing it over and over and over again. And I go, you know what? I think they've solved a lot. I think they're way, way, way beyond what anyone thinks. And actually the CEO, I think it was Lockheed Martin, forgot which CEO, in the 1990s, I literally got to make a whole video just for this one dude. Okay. He literally just came out and flat out said, we have technology that'll basically embarrass Star Trek. Okay. I think he was actually passed away shortly after. I think by natural causes. Well, you never know these days. You never know. What do you think, friends? Missing flight MH370. I know, man. The wormholes. Look, at least it's not really aliens who are kind of just zapping us out. Okay, it's UFO tech. That's a zap them out. But what happened to those people, man? Are they all dead? They had to kill them. Make sure you like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you in the next one.